The environment can directly and indirectly impact on our health and well-being. Environmental health examines the interactions between the environment and our health. As humans, we are interconnected with our environment. Our natural and built environment is more than just a place for us to live. Let's define first what is environment. So, environment broadly includes everything external to ourselves, including the physical, natural, social, and behavioral environments. So, what is environmental health? Environmental health refers to aspects of human health, including quality of life, that are determined by physical, chemical, biological, social, and psychosocial factors in the environment. So for me, we need safe, healthy, and supportive environment for good health because the environment in which we live is a major determinant of our health and well-being.
So, I know that some of you has the idea about the word health because health can be defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and it's not merely the absence of disease or illness. I do believe that having a good health, a healthy body, a healthy lifestyle can have an assurance to have a better life. And I do believe also that we need to have not only having physically healthy but being healthy holistically. So I have this question in my mind that the environment important for our health. The answer is yes. Why? Because we need safe, healthy, and supportive environment for good health. We depend on the environment for energy and materials needed to sustain life such as clean air. Clean air is important because breathing clean air can lessen the possibility of the diseases from stroke, heart diseases, lung cancer, as well as chronic and acute illnesses such as asthma. Having clean air can only affect also to our psychologically because inhaling fresh air can give you or can be a stress reliever for you, right? So the next one is the safe drinking water. It is very important because safe and readily available water is important for public health, whether it as used for drinking, domestic use, food production, and recreational purposes. This is one of the most important thing to survive because without safe and drinking water, we cannot survive daily life, right? So, just like what happened in the northern barangay that they have mistaken a lot, um, they have mistaken to drink not safety drinking water. That's why some of them have a disease and it's a big impact to their life, right?
So, good day everyone. I will just continue our topic, the environment important for health. So, nutritious food, of course, we need to have nutritious food from our environment for the sake of our health. And lastly, safe place to live. For our mental, physical, and etc., having a peaceful and safe place is an important matter. Now let's move on to our health effects related to the environment. The first, we have outdoor air pollutions that can bring negative effects such as respiratory conditions, cardiovascular diseases, and lung cancer. And lastly is unsafe drinking water that can cause, of course, diarrhea illnesses. So that's all. Thank you.
In contaminated recreational water, there are one illnesses. So these illnesses are caused by germs and chemicals found in the waters. swim or play, including swimming pools, water parks have. So they are spread by swallowing, breathing, and mist or aerosols of having contact with contaminated waters. So here are some examples of contaminated recreational waters, which are the diarrheal or the gastrointestinal illnesses in eye, ear, nose, and throat infections. In mosquito sticks and vectors are some are the fly flu's use is unique, so integrated system to ensure your yard complete protection from mosquito sticks and even some other pesky bugs. So here are the examples of mosquitoes and vectors, some are malaria, dengue fever, and respiratory diseases. So in UV ultraviolet light exposure, it is a form of electromagnetic radiation with wavelength from 10 nm to 400 m, shorter than that of visible light but longer than X-rays. So UV radiation it is present in sunlight and constitutes about 10% of the total electromagnetic radiation in output from the sun. So too much light, melanin and melanoma skin cancer are so
Secondhand smoke exposure. So, secondhand smoke refers to the smoke breathed out by the smoker and the smoke coming from the cigarette. For example, when someone smokes in the confined area such as in the home, car, it puts everyone's health at risk. So, the example of heart effects of second-hand smoke in infants, it low breath with sudden and expected death in infancy or the SUDI. In children, it is the asthma, lower respiratory infections, and the middle air infectious. In adults, ischemic heart disease and stroke and also lung cancer. Next was the household crowding. A household crowding refers to the houses that are too small for the number of occupants and need more bedrooms or the structural crowding. And also, a functional crowding or the room sharing may occur when trying to save a heating cost. Household crowding can increase the spread of infectious diseases, particularly for children. Families who live in crowded households are also a source of infectious diseases in their wider community. Examples of heart effects of household crowding is the infectious diseases including the lower respiratory infections. Next, we have the cold and damp housing. Cold, damp housing can worsen asthma symptoms and it is also associated with an increased risk of asthma development and respiratory tract infections. Cold housing may contribute to excess wider deaths. Example of health effects of cold and damp housing are excess mortality.
Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, but since in 1880s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil and gas, which produce heat trapping gases. Examples of health effects is infection diseases, including garden disease, cryptopardiosis, and salmonellosis, heat stroke. Next is hazardous substance. Hazardous substance have a capacity to cause significant adverse effect and to the environment or to humans. They can be radioactive or an irritant. Handling, transporting, or working with them can lead to sustaining personal injury or illness. These adverse effects can occur during or as a proximate result of any handling or use, including inhalation or skin contact. So, examples of health effect: poisoning, burns, dermatitis. The last one is lead. Lead is a natural occurrent element found in a small amount in earth crust. While it has some beneficial uses, it can be toxic to humans and animals, causing health effects. Lead can be found in all parts of all environment: the air, the soil, and water, and even inside of our homes. More of exposures comes from human activities, including the use of fossil fuels, including past use of leading, gasoline. Some types of industrial facilities and fast fuels have lead-based paint in homes. Lead and lead compounds have a use in wide variety of products found in our home, including paints, ceramics, pipes, and plumbing materials. So there's gasoline, batteries, ammunitions, and cosmetics. So example of health effect in a child development: developmental delay, behavioral problems. In adults, increased blood pressure.
So, my topic is all about the environmental exposure. The first is asbestos. Asbestos fibers irritate and scar lung tissue, causing the lungs to become stiff. This makes it difficult to breathe. As asbestos progress, more and more lung tissue becomes scared. Eventually, your lung tissue becomes so stiff that can contract, expand in normal. So that's why they have a lung cancer and mesothelioma. So the mesothelioma is a type of cancer that develops in lining that covers the outer surface of some of the body's organ. It's usually linked to asbestos exposure. Hearing loss. A person is said to have a hearing loss if they are not able to hear as well as someone with normal hearing. Cardiovascular disease, a type of disease that affects the heart or blood vessel. The risk of certain cardiovascular disease may be increased by smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, unhealthy diet, lack of exercise, and obesity. The next is insomnia. Insomnia is a common sleep disorder that can make it hard to fall asleep, hard to stay asleep, or cause you to wake up too early and not be able to get back to sleep. You may still feel tired when you wake up. Physiopsychological disorder are physical disease that are either brought about or worse by stress and other emotional factor. One of the mechanism through which stress and emotional factor can influence the development of this disease is by adversely affecting the body immune system.
Okay, let's continue. Now I will discuss the environmental burden of disease worldwide. Globally, environmental factors contributed to an estimated 23% of all deaths in 2002, and children under 15 years were particularly affected, with 36% of all deaths accounted for by environmental factors. And even in developed countries, environmental factors play a large role in the burden of disease. You know what? In 2002, 17% of all deaths were attributable to environmental factors in developed countries in the Western Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Singapore, Brunei, and Jerusalem. But in the other case, disease burden was not quantifiable even though the health impacts are readily apparent. For instance, the disease burden associated change, damage, or depleted ecosystem in general was not quantified.